So the death of Kurt Cobain has been reinvestigated and it's been suggested that he was actually murdered rather than died by suicide. Just a trigger warning, I'll be discussing topics like murder, suicide, and drug use. So a private team of forensic scientists, including Brian Burnett, who is a specialist in gunshot trauma, and Michelle Wilkins, who is an independent researcher, have come to suggest that it was actually a homicide and not a suicide. They reinvestigated the autopsy and the crime scene, and they're suggesting that he was confronted by one or more assailants who forced him to have a heroin overdose to incapacitate him before one of them shot him in the head, placed the gun in his arms, and left behind a forged suicide note. They're also saying how he died wasn't from the gunshot wound because there was no signs of an instantaneous death, but rather there was organ damage and oxygen deprivation, saying that the necrosis of the brain and the liver happens in an overdose, it doesn't happen in a shotgun death. Well, they're also saying that the amount of heroin he took, he would have been way incapacitated before he'd even be able to hold a shotgun, and he could have even been comatose by the time he came around to shoot himself. And they're also saying that his heroin kit was completely put away clean, and that's unusual for someone who's about to take their own life. They're also saying that the lack of blood on his body suggests that it was shot by someone else, saying the left hand was tightly squeezed around the muzzle of the gun, but yet there was no blood on his hands, there was no blood on his top. The only blood there was on the bottom of his top. And saying that the shotgun shell was on top of a pile of clothes opposite the expected ejection direction. So basically, the shell was expected to go one way, but actually went another way, which is impossible for how shotguns work. This is also including that the suicide note left behind, the bottom half of it was actually in someone else's handwriting, and it's been proven that way. This is just skimming the surface of what's going on. I do suggest that you go read as many articles as you can to learn the full story. So what do you guys think? I had my suspicions already, but this kind of adds fuel to the fire. Let me know what you think in the comments.